Welcome back to our RIT Jams. Today we are talking to Geotab, a company founded in 2000 and grown rapidly to become a global player in the IoT and connected vehicle space, particularly around fleet management and vehicle tracking. The company now manages 2 million vehicles on a single open platform. Today we are chatting to Geotab APAC General Manager, Deepak Kadambi, to find out more. Welcome, Deepak.
Thank you. I appreciate the invite.
Okay, so for those who haven't worked with Geotab before, can you explain a little bit about the company?
Absolutely. Great being here. Welcome the opportunity. Geotab at its core is an engineering company building analytics, fleet management, and IoT solutions, primarily focused on the commercial vehicles that serve the world. We have an installation base actually of 2.5 million. We've actually grown pretty strongly this year. We're hoping to get over 2.6 million by the end of the year. That puts us in a leadership position for aftermarket vehicle telematics and makes us a leader in the industry. We've been lauded as the #1 telematics industry by companies like ABI Research, which is an independent market research organization, for a couple of years. We are currently present in over 130 countries and across 7 continents, interestingly, including Antarctica as well. We have vehicles that we have supported in Antarctica. We support the fleets in making them more efficient and forward-looking as they serve their respective customers.
Excellent. And it's very interesting that you've got a presence in Antarctica. That's fantastic. So we'll move on to the second question. So Geotab prides itself on the 6 pillars of innovation. So we want to discuss a little bit about what those 6 pillars are. Can you explain more?
Absolutely. The 6 pillars of innovation on which our company has built itself are basically productivity, fleet optimization, safety, compliance, expandability, and last but not least, sustainability. I'll give you a little bit of a snippet on each one of them. Right? Productivity. Productivity pillar is basically, our customers, our end customers and users, they want to create an operational efficiency. Many of these companies are operating on razor-thin margins. Right? So they want to kind of create an efficiency of business operations, if you will, right? Arrival, departure times, true trip miles, unexpected stops. These are all things that make business operations that much more important, because these guys are thinking about how do we enhance our revenue opportunity. More vehicles running on the road actually translates into revenue opportunities for them. Then as the fleet optimization, it's while we talked about business operations efficiency, this is fleet operational efficiency, which is fuel usage, maintenance, and such, right? This gives them that little bit of an edge over their competitors if they can operate at a higher fuel efficiency, if they can be proactive and predictive in when they need to maintain. That way they can kind of, handle the fleet puzzle better so they can get more out of the assets. The third piece is the safety. Safety is like whether it is collision notification, accident reconstruction, is the driver wearing seatbelt, is the driver driving in reverse, and so on and so forth. These are vehicle and driver safety focused products of innovation, if you want to call it. The 4th pillar I talked about was compliance. Compliance is ensuring the fleets are compliant with whatever the regional laws are. In the US, you have electronic driver logs. In Australia, you have chain of responsibility, road user charge. All of these things become that much more important. Expandability. We are a humble company that understands that we may not have products for everybody. Our product is, as fantastic as our product is, we understand truly that there are limitations. Expandability gives us that ability to kind of identify external parties who may be experts in fields that we may not be experts in, on our ability to integrate and allow people to use our product as a foundation, whether they want to add cameras or they want to add fuel sensors, or if they want to add tire pressure monitoring systems, or it could be even software things like road user charge, the EROC, for example. And then whether it is if it's a car share company, it's a reservation platform. So expandability gives us so much more to kind of build on. And then last but not least, and very importantly for our CEO especially, who was present at COP26, the sustainability. We are one of the companies that invested in electric vehicles long before anybody else, right? And so we focus on reducing fuel consumption, tracking CO2 emissions, fleet electrification, and allowing fleets to kind of evolve from a purely gasoline or petrol or diesel vehicles to electric vehicles. That's the sixth pillar. So those are the six pillars, if you may.
Excellent. So you mentioned there electric vehicles, which is one of your core focus areas, specifically telematics and connected car data. So what are you doing in this space?
So, like I mentioned, electric vehicles has been a focus for Geotab long before electric vehicles was a buzzword or a cool thing to do, and so on and so forth. We've been working with electric vehicles for a long time. In fact, a company we acquired a few years ago, Fleet Karma, had been working with the Fords and the GMs to kind of as electric vehicle consultants and creating products to kind of enhance the operational efficiency of electric vehicles. We are an industry leader in electric vehicles. We support over 200 makes and models of electric vehicles. That is, significantly more than any aftermarket telematics providers. It's like 3 times, 4 times more than many in some cases, right? And so we have consciously built an electric vehicle strategy for us. The other thing that we have also done is we understand that it is not just enough to support electric vehicles. Not all fleets have electric vehicles, and not all fleets have the capability of understanding how they can transition over, maybe it's a 100 vehicle fleet, maybe 1 or 2 vehicles become electric. So we have what is called an electric vehicle suitability assessment, where we actually work with companies that own fleets and help them identify how they need to create an electrification strategy for themselves, right? It may be 100 vehicles, maybe 10 of them are suitable to be electrified, but we not only identify that, 10% of your vehicles can turn electric, but based on the usage of the vehicles and how they're being used and such, we can specifically identify which vehicles would make sense. So it's a conscious effort not only to support electric vehicles, it's a conscious strategy built around creating a path forward for fleets to transition over from internal combustion engines to electric vehicles as well. So that's what our charter around EVs are, and that's how we work with companies.
Excellent. So how do your efforts align with Australian and Asia Pacific and global efforts to fight climate change?
Absolutely. Like I said, right out of the bat, right? Like we are a very forward-looking company. Our company has its own goals on carbon footprint and so on and so forth. We had strong representation at the COP26 in Glasgow earlier this year, and just a few weeks ago. So this is a very, very important, aspect of how we want to grow as a business. That said, in Asia Pacific region, across the board, and Australia as well, governments are making conscious efforts on their own EV plans, right? Like in Australia, the federal government, COP Car, which is initiative which they're use the vehicles for government officials and so on and so forth. They are transitioning over to electric vehicles. States are doing it. When we talk to councils and so on and so forth, they are very enthralled by the idea of converting a portion of their electric vehicle fleets into portion of their fleets into electric vehicles. Same thing in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia, it's like every government has a specific mandate on when they want to convert, whether it is Indonesia and Thailand saying, hey, X% of our manufacturing, them being automotive hubs, X% of their manufacturing kind of turns into, an EV pipeline, so to speak, or conscious effort saying, hey, we will have most of our vehicles by, as electric vehicles by 2030. They are all making conscious efforts of changing their, government vehicles into electric vehicles. So the governments around the world are all very conscious about, the migration path to electric vehicles, and we are right there supporting them.
Excellent. So we've discussed a little bit about Geotab and what you do. So if our viewers wanted to get in contact with the Geotab team, what's the best way that they can do so?
Like most modern companies, you can reach us in multiple ways, whether it is LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. We have presence, but my recommendation would be you can reach us at www.geotab.com/au. Or you can reach out at email saying aumarketing@geotab.com. Either of those will probably see it much sooner. So.
Excellent. So we've been chatting to Geotab APAC General Manager Deepak Kadambi today. Thank you so much for joining us, Deepak.
Thank you. My pleasure.